Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyid al-Anbiya wal Mursaleen. This is mujeebkazi and you're watching Washington Roundtable on VOKTV. I'm joined by a very senior attorney here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Mr. Kamal, who is joining us to attend Kashmir symposium taking place here in Frisco, Texas. First of all, Kamal, thank you very much for giving us the time. And I have seen you supporting the cause and attending different conferences and speaking at different seminars and symposiums. Today's topic is finding the common grounds for people of Kashmir. Their aspiration is to ultimately seek to independence of state of Jammu and Kashmir.
Right.
I like to see before the conference start, obviously we have few minutes, I want to take your time out and see what do you make out of this symposium that is seeking to find common grounds that would lead us to finding the independence of Kashmir?
Yeah, very good question. Thank you for having me. First of all, I'd like to say that this will be a very constructive symposium because they're offering constructive, positive solutions instead of they're offering peaceful solutions instead of war-like situation. So that's a positive sign, you know. And I think the people of Kashmir have suffered enough for 70 years, you know, on both sides. The Azad Kashmir, the Pakistan held Kashmir, and the Indian held Kashmir. They've suffered a lot. Thousands have died. The children, their homes have been destroyed. Their lives have been destroyed. So it's about time the world take notice of it, you know, and provide a solution that is acceptable to all the Kashmiris and to all the nations also, you know, the nation states. In the sense that a solution that accepts the basic human rights of Kashmiri people. It's about Kashmiri people, not simply just territory, just not simply about mountain, all those beautiful mountains, I agree. But it's about the people who live there. It's about their lives, you know, their future and the future of the children that is at stake. So I think so this is the reason why the symposium like this will be helpful.
You have alluded to something that you favor peaceful solution of Kashmir dispute.
Right.
Is there a peaceful solution to Kashmir?
Yeah, peaceful solution.
I mean, does the freedom ever given to nations peaceful means?
Well, see, the Kashmiri people, they have paid a price for 70 years. They've been fighting, you know, they've been dying in their cause. So it's not really so the history hasn't been peaceful. But the solution can be peaceful in the sense that it cannot be achieved by war, you know, by Pakistan or by India. War is not the answer. The two nations, both nuclear armed nations, you know, war is not the solution. So that's why I'm saying it's peaceful through diplomacy. And they have the groundwork for diplomacy already, you know. It started with diplomacy, the Kashmir problem. 1947, there was the UN Nations Security Council resolution for the right of self-determination of the people of Kashmir. That can be the basis to have a peaceful solution or diplomatic solution, you might say.
I totally agree because you see over 100,000 lives have been sacrificed for this cause. And the struggle has been, there was an armed struggle and there was a fight for the freedom in the past. And you know, the people after giving up like hundreds and thousands of lives, they finally come to conclusion that, hey, let's come down, sit down on the table and talk. So at the end of the day, according to your point of view, do you think just by having symposium like this or conferences like this or seminar like this will eventually lead us towards a peaceful resolution of Kashmir?
Yes, it can be helpful, you know, these conferences and symposium, you know. Because by this you put the pressure on the governments of the two countries and on the world, you know. First of all, you highlight the issues, the humanity issues of the Kashmiri people to the world. So you appeal to the conscience, the world conscience, you know. And secondly, you appeal to both countries, India and Pakistan, to see that how important it is to realize this, to solve this problem through peaceful means, which will benefit both the countries, you know.
Well, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
being on the show, and we'll come back to you after the symposium as well.
Yeah, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Precinct here.
in
That's
Dallas County.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Mujeebkazi, and you're watching VOKTV at Washington Roundtable. I'm joined by a precinct chair, Democratic Party, Mr. Robert. Thank you for giving us the time.
Yes, sir.
I have seen you coming to Kashmir conferences, supporting the cause, standing up against oppression, and you're here again in Frisco, Texas today to speak about finding the common grounds for the people of Kashmir who are aspiring to seek the independence. What is your initial thought on that?
Kashmir is a very complicated situation. My feeling is that one part of the complication, the religious dimension, is solvable. The political scientists will have to work on issues of sovereignties and boundary drawing, and maybe the United Nations Charter will be a guide. But on the religious dimension, the United States has as its First Amendment religious laws, the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause, and the idea being that the government does not support any religion, and the Free Exercise Clause that each individual has the right to follow his own religion as he or she feels is appropriate. And communal tensions had existed in this country for a long time, mostly between the Protestants and the Catholics. It was a very a long-standing and animosity, and so. But the government refused to take sides exactly, and now the fight is still going on. There are religious objections to LGBTQ rights. There are religious objections to abortion rights, and so the struggle still continues with some people's religious beliefs they think ought to be imposed on others. This is a bad idea. The best way forward is to let each person follow his or her own religion and leave the other guy to follow his, without involving the government to enforce one's own opinion.
Well, let me interrupt for a few seconds. This is not a religious issue. This is not imposing one ideology on another. It's a matter of 24 million people who are residing in 84,000 square mile of area that has been occupied by three different most powerful countries, India, Pakistan, and China. People of Kashmir are demanding independence from all three of them. So I understand what you have just alluded to, what the religious freedom stands for, the space that we all need to give each other and what have you. That is totally understandable. But when it comes down to the aspiration for very basic right of people, and for that matter, it doesn't matter where the people are. I mean, if people around the globe have the right to be independent, and that's exactly what people of Kashmir are asking for. That's the thought that I want to inculcate, and see if you have anything to say about that.
The drawing of boundaries. Shall we draw a boundary around Kashmir alone, or is it going to be drawn into a larger boundary with India, or how is it going to be divided up? I think that individual rights or the ideals of the United Nations Charter should be governing, but I do feel like there's a religious dimension here. The two countries, two countries, India and Pakistan, a line was drawn between them in order to separate the two religions, and I think the conflict is embedded in there. Now, I can't speak for any Chinese religious impulses, but I've been thinking of this conflict as mainly between Pakistan and India.
Exactly. So I think I understand where you are alluding to. When India and Pakistan came into beings, the line was drawn based on religion. That is totally understandable. I think that's what you're referring to. But I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for attending the conference. And we'll get back to you right after the seminar as well and see what your thoughts are and see what this symposium will lead us up to next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.